Hi, my name is David Koci. This is the Literature Cafe Global show. Um, we're called, this specific show is going to be called Out of the Cumberland Mines, Episode 2, because we had one show before called Out of the Cumberland Mines, Episode 1, about 2 years ago, and we were going to try to make another one, but we were really trying to really just get some things together with Literature Cafe Global. We started playing a lot of shows, and we decided to, next time we had an event, we really wanted to develop it carefully, to just have the same amount of quality content that we brought with the prior shows, and make sure that it was just a substantial, variety of quality content. So we waited a while and developed lot of new stuff, met some new people, and reunited with some old people that used to help us back in the day when we were doing the Zoom shows on during COVID, around 2020 and beyond and everything like that. So tonight, I will be here. Brian Burchette is going to be joining us very soon. And tonight we have a special guest, a feature guest, which we're super excited to have. We we haven't seen him in a while, except for because he does a lot of things. He is the poet laureate of Hendersonville and stays super busy, inspiring and promoting people to do art and music and other types of literature and performance and all of that stuff throughout the greater Nashville area and beyond. And his name is Henry L. Jones, and he's here tonight, and we're very grateful to have him.
Glad to be here, David.
Thank you. Yeah. We were just talking earlier about he mentioned to me something that I found very important. It's the it's the need to know how to trace your roots, the people who inspired you um in your life as an artist, and it kind of connects us to like older times where maybe the our elders connected us to inspired us to do art and music and whatever creative endeavors we do, and kind of just the necessity to remember who they were and what they did and where they did it historically. And did I get that? Did I explain that well, Henry? Is there anything else you'd like to
Yeah,
say about that?
yeah, because like branches of a tree, we're from the trunk. We all have a foundation. We have individuals, organizations, and movements that inspired and influenced us in different ways. So yeah, definitely. And yeah, you hit it home well. Um, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that's something I was talking about. I was talking about an old teacher of mine who inspired me to go to an old place called Windows of the Cumberland, and it was a place probably in the like what early '90s, late '80s, where
Yeah.
they did a bunch of
80s.
poetry.
Mhm.
Yeah, they did it for many years, and then
Yes.
things evolved into other scenes. And I, for one, know I occasionally hear people mention it or remember it, but sometimes it's not satisfactory to me because it was a very special place for me. And the teacher who inspired me to get uh, really develop my poetry and my writing and stuff. Uh, he kind of encouraged me to check out that scene to see how people did it, and it really got me into a lot of beat style things, influences that probably go like back before the 1950s. And I'm just grateful to have been able to been exposed to all of that came from back then, because I don't think we'd have what we have today if we didn't have all that. So
Yes.
um Henry is coming out with a book soon.
Yes. Yes. It is called Black Skillet Blues, Porch Without Cornbread. It's at the finishing portions of it, and it's been long overdue. Um, I believe from when I first announced it, when I would look at different videos, I was like, man, it was probably 2 or 3 years ago. And I was really pushing myself, but here it was David Mays, basically in the middle of COVID. And I was like, don't be so hard on yourself. You know, let it flow what needs to flow. And then I realized there were certain moments and experiences that I need to write about and include within the book. So I had then at a poetry event in 23 said, okay, it's going to be out before, once again, I said, I don't want to make myself a liar. But I had some close poet friends, Navita Gunner and some other people die, and that put me into this funk. And so I put that on hold again. But I'm on track. It's just something you just keep. Everybody can fall off track. I don't care what you're trying to do in life, but you find a way to reset your mind, reset your heart, and get back, because you say this is important. And sometimes you can be trying something in life, you just need to rest. And it's okay to stop and take a rest, because we need the rest so that our thoughts are clearer. And as a poet, I think those thoughts are the foundation of what we're trying to pull together. So it's not get it out, it's not an assembly line, so yeah.
It's amazing to hear that from you, because that it is true. I like to write a lot, but I don't feel like I should make an assembly line of poems.
Exactly. Hey, Brian, long time, man.
Oh, yeah. It's been a long day, but I'm glad to be here at the Literature Cafe Global. And
Yeah. And I'm glad to see Literature Cafe is still here, thriving, pushing forward.
we're hoping to stick in there. We took a little hiatus, and I didn't realize when you stay away from something how it kind of can sort of fall apart. But then we're piecing it back together again, and we're hoping that with the new leadership, we've got a new admin. I think everybody notices. Got him Anton, and he's doing a great job. And he lives like in some weird state, but he just wanted to be an admin, so we let him do it. And I haven't turned back since, because I think he might be a better admin than I am. So in a way, it's good, because that way I can do poetry, music, and art, and do like a solo thing, and still be a founder, but make sure that the Literature Cafe Global is for the people, by the people, for the poets, and it's never been owned by me. It was just something that I was kind of bequeathed in life, and I was supposed to share it. So,
Right.
so
Gotcha. Yeah. I was talking to someone the other day about the importance of things being continued, because sometimes people will start something, found something, and while they're alive or healthy, it's fine. But then if they get sick, some type of long-term illness, they'll chat, because health is a priority.
Well, the goal
That
of the
that
Literature
thing
Cafe,
falls apart.
I was going to say, the real goal of the Literature Cafe Global, futuristically, and I hope somebody does hear this 50 years from now, is that someone else is going to control it.
Right.
Is that other voices are going to carry it, but we want it to be carried. And maybe the message might change a little bit here and there, depending on the people and stuff.
Yeah.
But the voices I see in this room, like David's, Waves of 11, soon to have Abandoned Shell, Mike Mundy, and you. Oh my God, it's like a lot of groups don't have a poet laureate that comes and speaks with them, because theirs is too busy. But we're so glad that you come by and visit. And
Well, I consider this one of my poetry homes, man. So we
It
go way back. So
Mhm.
thank you for having me again.
Oh, cool. So, did you want to do some any of the poems out of the book or anything? I know I
Nah,
came a little bit
I'm not gonna
late.
read it all. I'm just gonna sit here and
Oh, okay, it's fine too. The Literature Cafe Global was known for that. It was that's actually, it was created originally just so poets could actually communicate long distance.
Really?
Yeah, I made it so I could talk to my friends in Nashville, because I moved to Georgia for a brief stint.
Uh-huh.
And it sounds like a movie, but I moved to Georgia, and the relationship didn't work out with a girl, but the Literature Cafe Global worked out, and so been here
Wow.
ever since.
I did not know that. So You start with one thing and then it morphs into something else.
Well,
Yeah.
essentially, I think it was a walkie-talkie that connected to 517 people.
Wow.
You know, and so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to share some poems from different some stuff that's going to be in the upcoming book that is in the upcoming book. There's a book that came out I'm part of. I'm going to share a poem from there, and it's kind of try to play catch up. Uh, today I remember seeing this online about the anniversary of Dr. King's assassination coming up, and I was like, wow. And then I looked at that year, and I was like, man, you know, that was a long time ago. Because here we are in 2024. I remember a time when people thought in 1999 the world was going to end and all that. And here we are still. And we've had a lot of tragedies and we have a lot of challenges still. But I think in many ways, subtly or even from a distance, we artists of all kind, we kind of help people hold on and deal with what's going on from the past, even today. And one of this here is In Fullness of the Word, an anthology of Black poet laureates. This is a historical piece here because this is the first type book of Black poet laureates. A friend of mine, another poet, when I became poet laureate, she said, hey, I met a poet laureate in my city. And there's this group. I think you should reach out to them. And I did. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool what you guys are doing. Well, fast forward, the idea came to publish a anthology, found a publisher and so forth, and this book emerged. So there are 22 of us in here, and I'm going to read first a poem from it. David had mentioned about one of my art exhibits at the Parthenon here in Nashville, and this was with Omari Booker, where the two of us looked at North Nashville and gentrification, to sum it up. And then we had to respond with our artwork. I did these huge, provocative, abstract images, and Omari's known as a portrait artist, and he came from that perspective. Well, after looking at the show and all, I wrote this poem. You're a poet, you see things, you get inspired. And I wrote this poem, sent it to the curator, and he loved it. So it was included in the exhibit as long as we had a documentary, an installation. It was just a wonderful show, wonderful show. So I'm going to share this poem, Once We Ran with the Wind. Eyes searching for old paths, longing to find our lost dreams, once so easily found in the streets, named after no one we knew or anyone who cared about us. Legs racing for the house, seeing a beacon to get home before the streetlights came on. Lit with swift children to know, passing, smiling, waving neighbors, better move your butt faster. They knew why you ran, to prevent whippings with a belt for being late, not again. So you ran like a gazelle, swallowed Wilma's breath, giving you a second wind, pretending to be the hero Flash. Better get home soon, late legs, as trails of dry leaves rise and fall, quickly hiding your direction so hunters couldn't follow you home. Mark that sacred space as condemned. Our house was all we had, but just enough to make us believe we were safe at night. A home where laughter coated the walls, layered memories of joy and pain, welcome griot voices that echoed history with stories about the now to now. As bowlegs kept running and moving, knowing we walk on pothole-filled roads to work, we marched on hot, hard streets for justice. We ran through grassy fields to freedom. We danced to release all our heartaches until weary and worn, but kept moving. Until those legs found their way back home. No matter how far, they never stopped, finding a way to make a way back. Because stopping isn't in us to do ever. So when we fall, we rise mighty again. On strong currents with wide wings, we learn to fly away, seeing faces as pavers along the paths. Those journeys of rising and falling. So many times we became dizzy, but we just smiled, still moving, and changed motion into music, pulling out songs from our hearts, singing words from our longing, old spirituals of those waymakers. Still we struggle to keep going. No one can see us moving alone. Ghostly glances of us past new faces, twisted smiles stand their ground, new roads, new faces, new places. We just gone, vanished overnight, pretending we never existed. Only secret remains found of us as I search for old paths, longing to find our lost dreams.
Hey, we're about to have Pat come in just 1 second too. Would you like a little music behind you, man?
Oh, that might be interesting. Yeah.
All right.
Interesting.
Give us 1 second for the Mr. Guitar himself.
Mhm.
I love that very much.
Thank you.
Reminds me of growing up and certain things that happen to you when you're growing up, if they're significant enough in force, I guess it causes you to be propelled forward
Right.
and never want to, like you said, like never stop, you know, and just
Yes.
keep on moving. It's
Yeah, I think what we are shown and taught while growing up, it becomes a foundation, you know. I remember when I was
Pat doesn't want to do a long set tonight. He wants to do just a couple songs.
okay, that's fine.
He had to work on the yard with me. I'm gonna tell a lawn mowing story to Nashville now. The both lawnmowers didn't want to work right, so I'm out there with a weed eater in the end of it because it looks like somebody with a bad haircut. You know, like 4 little spots are just longer. And I tell you, I had like 6 women have conversations with me just watching me work. And I think it's interesting. If you want to meet women, mow your yard and be a man and do your chores. And they'll be like, "How you doing?" All day, and you're like, and you're so busy mowing the yard. You're, oh, okay. And then
Yeah.
you realize this could be socialization. You know.
Hey, you might have a point there. The thing of it is, some of them are going to bring you a nice tall glass of lemonade or iced tea. And that might be the beginning of something right there.
Totally. It is true though. It's like when you least want something or you're just trying to do your job,
Yeah.
that's when you get more attention, and it's so funny.
Oh,
And this,
and you know, I've seen guys mowing their lawn, whether with a push mower or riding mower, and some will have their shirt off. So that may be.
oh yeah, some of them use
So
that.
if you're leaving that part
I
out,
don't.
Dave, if you're leaving that part out, Brian, about
I
you
did
going
not do that
shirtless
part.
and stuff.
I did not. I didn't do the
Flexing your
shirt thing off.
biceps.
I didn't have to, man. It was great. It was just like
Okay.
I was like, I didn't have to take my clothing off while I'm
Okay.
mowing my grass. So it was pretty good.
Because that might be there. Hey, his shirt is off. This
There's
reminds
the
me
naked
of
mower.
that bachelorette party when the guy came in.
Call him up, Susie.
That's funny. That's funny.
But it's just so funny if you really want attention, mow your yard or paint your house
Mm-hmm.
or trim your bushes. It's
See,
just,
those have sexual
it's
undertones too, right there.
but what I'm saying is,
Ma'am, do you need me to
had
trim
bad
your bush?
undertones.
They're like, oh,
That was the
yes, I
worst
do.
undertones I think I've ever led on the Literature Cafe Global. We're talking about landscapes in Tennessee.
Right. We know you're a
We're not
gigolo.
like that.
Brian, we know that secretly you're a gigolo and you guys are
Right.
speaking in code or something.
landscape bruschetti.
Exactly. Yeah. It's good to hear from you again.
Oh dear. One thing I
This,
gotta say though about that, I'm sorry, but I just wanted to say, I have found in life like things that have happened in my life that have been just some of the best things that have happened like right when I was laying low, had my head down, really putting in the work, and then
yeah.
I like stopped and I realized, okay, now it's time to relax. After months and
Mhm.
months of like pushing, and trying to get
Right.
stuff done, making money, like writing, working, everything. And then like all of a sudden I like sit down, I'm like, okay, now I think it's time to chill. I'm a little overworked. It's time for me to take a break. And,
Hmm.
and during those breaks, if I go out and socialize, it's amazing how things fall into place in my life. Like, I'll just run into all the right people and I'll have like a repertoire of tools that I've developed and I'm able to use them and it's wonderful. I don't know.
I think it's
Yeah.
because you're finding balance in yourself that way. That's a good moral balance of the soul, you know?
That's
Like
a
you
good
don't have to
point.
say nothing crazy or do anything weird. Because when you're younger, in your 20s in Nashville, I always found I would say a lot of things and to attract, the ladies. And I would say things and I realize now I can't be that way now and just say things. It's got to have intent and
Right.
purpose. And
Yeah.
that's the difference between a 20-year-old and somebody older.
Right.
Is
That's true. Yeah.
a 20-year-old will tell you anything.
Hmm.
Sure.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I wish I could write a poem based on my 20-year-old level to my level now.
You
Back
probably
in
could. You tap into it. You probably could. Yeah. And
yeah,
and and then if it's a 20-year-old listening to that poem, they'll say, "Wow, that's me. That's what I'm doing now."
I'm doing yeah.
Yeah.
What's funny in Nashville is you kind of go out on the town, you go crazy. The Second Avenue was a blast,
Mm-hmm.
and then later on, these places aren't as much fun as they used to be.
Hmm. Yeah.
They don't have the people there and the memories, and the prices are different, and it's not the same crowd. And you look like a geriatric, and they're just trying to pick up on. What I'm saying is sometimes you walk into a place and it's all a younger crowd, and it's
Mm-hmm.
changed. And you got to realize
Mm.
it's not your crowd anymore, and it hurts some people.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah. There are a lot of lonely people in the world. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta say one thing though. I went to college late. Well, I attempted college about 3 or 4 times until I finally buckled down and really finished it. I'd start
hmm
and I'd stop and I'd start and I'd stop whenever I had some money, and then finally one time, I an employment specialist helped me apply for like student loans and stuff and grants and stuff. And I had never like considered doing that before. I just used some money if I had it, take some classes here and there, at a community college or whatnot. And so, I applied and I got money and I went to school, but by that time I was like 29 years old. And so I'm going back to school and you know, I really I I found myself in like the place of like a guru or something like that. Or like, you know,
Hmm.
someone had been in the scenes that I was interested in college, like for instance, like the techno scene or electronic music scene, or like the hip hop scene or the graffiti scene or whatever, or poetry open mic scene. And I had like 10 or so more years experience than a lot of those people did, and it really like helped me because I I try to make sure that I was coming from a place of good intent, and kind of like where I wanted to like help them learn how to do stuff that maybe they didn't know how to do, and
Hmm. Hmm.
I made all sorts of friends, and
Mm.
it was just great. I
It
just
sounds like you were the David. Sounds like you were the Yoda of the characters
yeah.
I
for
kind
that.
of it sort of was like that,
I'm
Like,
gonna
yeah.
get
hey,
I
I
was
back.
only
got
like
this
10 years older,
wisdom.
but they called some people would call me Grandpa Dave. It was pretty
Oh
funny.
my God.
I
I'm
was
gonna
like
get
10 years
back
old.
there
I'm like,
once I get
what?
school.
Whatever, man.
Yeah. So I'm going to read a poem. It's
Thank you.
actually, now you're not as old as the character in this poem, but I had to connect with that. This is from my other book, Run into Blackness, Filling My Poetic Gumbo. And I may have shared this poem actually here. I'm not sure, but we're going to bring it back. It's titled Mississippi River, the Baptism. The Mississippi River isn't muddy and flowing brown, but bloody, with memories and stench past each generation, with each flush a bowel movement. Still, we wipe our butts without cleaning the black hole where all things are lost behind the scenes, making all murders, no, let's say slayings, of little black children, drug or gang related. No one wants to go near that hole where manure spreads itself across the eyes of lost corn, to smother Kwanzaa, to turn Karinga's dreams into nightmares. Drenched in commercial passions which began flowing from Martin's bloody neck. Remember, today is that assassination. Now only our enemas, that deep coffee kind, will wake us up, will save us, provide some relief from all the oops, ain't no cussing in Big Mama's house. We're told and made to believe, stop, listen, it's Delta Blues. Music pushing against the shore. I still hear the water splashing as my preacher walks through the stream holding little Jerome in his arms, whose body is stiff by the cold currents and wiggling catfish. Soon both will be baptized, one in water, the other in cornmeal. Pastor prays hard, wanting to walk on the water's surface and break Jesus's reflection into small white pieces of communion bread. Still, Miss Mattie loves her pastor. You know, he knows Christ and marched with Martin from way back and will get her into heaven after her 22 years of twisting the faces of strangers for a shot of gin and a 20. She loved Pastor before he became saved, heard his screams before they were praises, and saw him rise in the world in his Cadillac bubble mirror, where things looked bigger and closer than they appeared. But she made him feel like a full man. Now he visits her after service, stops by to pray about the past, dreams in that same long ride, stained by greasy chicken bones from Sunday dinners and peach cobbler. Dropped between the seats, those large bones know the truth about how sweet peaches came and went many times in the back seat, then kept quiet. She was a pretty young child who was bused to Texas suddenly to live with her big mama. Mattie lived alone and lonely. Pastor's visits were still brief, but proud. He'd leave her after he shouted, "Oh, oh, oh, God!" Uh, then froze in silence. Prayer session over. Mattie gets to go to heaven after loving the pastor and feeding him with her flesh and remembrance wine, which left a stain she couldn't shout out. The stench of their river became a holy perfume and oil once used to cook all that fish and cover Mattie's dry skins, scenting the filth of shame. Jerome's face had rainbows that glistened on him as the pastor brought him up. His mama shouted and cried. Mud and sin slid off his white clothes. Mattie caught the ripples of hope and drank and drank and drank, becoming drunk on a new gin. She only gave her flesh, but not her soul. Instead of tears, she smiled. Seeing her face in the currents as something beautiful, just like that Mississippi River. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Wow.
This poem is also from the book, the same book, Run Into Blackness. There used to be a time where I would juggle between art, poetry, art, or just writing in general. And for a project, It's called African Male Museum. Carlton Wilkinson is a fine art photographer, and he had these beautiful black and white poses and playing with light and darkness and all these things I don't know because I'm not a photographer. But Abstraction Heal, this poem, when we collaborated, it just found a home. And this is from the book. Fear trapped the darkness in my skin. Some of my expression must live as whispers, and then some must die as screams. These symbols to explain my dark definition are but shadows cast from my dreams, words that mourn lost inspiration, seeking love and understanding for these eyes, a history of lynch baptisms and a whispering golden sphinx without lies. What beast is my form, made by black magic, a snake that dances to the sun? As rhythm and light bend for creation, the shedding of my fear has begun. The joy and relief of a fearless darkness, our beauty not marked or shamed, a healing by voiceless abstractions through these eyes that once only blamed.
Wow.
I did a fellowship with the writers, the Porch Writers Collective and Oz Art Nashville, and this was this was at the time we got through the whole fellowship as poets, elected poets, and novelists and so forth. We were shown these performances at Oz Arts, and our job was to write about it. It was a whole year project. Had a wonderful time, and this is one of the poems that I wrote inspired because, and you guys as musicians would probably love this group. Um, this group was it did a whole performance based on James Baldwin, and from his it was a play on name to his novel Notes of a Native Son, and one of my favorite books because he's one of the novelists and writers I like, and I have that book. And what it was, Notes of a Native Song, and they had all this projected imagery with James Baldwin, and it was fabulous. So this is what I wrote. Baldwin speaks of old and new lynches. When just above my head a lynching, seeking relief from grieving eyes, leaking slowly in disbelief, racing hypertensive heartbeats, fear in my chest pounding loudly. Beats to our African ancestors sounding like distant drums, awakening the deep slumber. Listening to those ancient chants, scores of music that seem familiar. Dry branches applaud the wind, moving like praising to the word. Clinging to old star notes coded, echoing on the Nile's currents, catfish dance and death's muck. From Egypt to Mississippi woes, trying to find hidden bodies still. Wanting the sorrow to end now. Looking for blurry, heavy eyes, a sea of salty cries falling, never dry. Will we ever mop up all the blood staining history's pages crimson and black? Raising our children as Kwanzaa corn, missing still many snatched, burned ears. They sizzle in the raging fire as they rise. Smoke twirling up signals, pointing, showing children the way home, searching for lost souls in limbo, knowing mass graves still hidden by the twisted hearts of demons. We only desire a fearless darkness, counting the names in police records, watching the video footage of blue lies, allowing this rabid dog to storm free with desire to hunt more black meat. Trumpet blows for new Harriet Tubman glory, running through concrete and steel now, telling weary people to keep moving, mourning stunted minds she left behind, to live on smiles and shuffle dances when their butts get tired and cramped, twerking along to see another day, longing a white cloth savior loves them, reaching for threads tied to their necks, then thicken into a noose for a picnic. Erected another native son, proud day, dragging flesh from his slave bones, banging on plantation floor, the rapes, castrating tails to stop the black seed, dry, thin lips shouted about new trophies. When stuffed heads hang on the walls, stirring old hunt memories for sons, climaxing semi-automatic penises shot. They shoot, they shoot, they shoot, emptying hatred onto dirty, lusty sheets with uncovered heads and proud smiles. Now screams about their rightful place, waving Confederate pride in the sun, standing their ground, a fearless old glory, bringing loads of cotton for more flags, hemp fibers to write a new constitution. When Baldwin, the old pastor's son, watching blacks pull the weave apart, revealing their frailty and strength, trapped naked beasts in the flower garden, clothed in sermons for marching plans, around the world, loud outcries for justice, walking unstoppable waves of change, holding up signs for all to hear our voices, seeking proof of humanity to redeem. Now, the fire next time is freedom's glow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that poem also was written during a time where when the Black Lives Matter movement was going on in the city, and we saw people just going out into the streets, and George killed, and all these other horrific events. And it's still going on. It's just not as shown. This next poem, and that poem is in my upcoming book. This one is another one from Run Into Blackness, Make Some Room. We spoke of loneliness and people struggling with that. And this was actually about someone that was very bitter and lonely, and I couldn't help. I know you guys could probably relate to this. You meet somebody or you experience something, you say, I got to write about this. I got to write about this. And this bitter, angry, lonely woman, I was listening to her and I was like, wow, wow. She was old, and I don't think she got over so much. It's titled Make Some Room. She prayed for a stranger to love her, then called out in Jesus' name, her heart still full of bitterness, but had no one else to blame. Cataract eyes blurred her dreams, cracked lips whispered twisted lies. She wanted lust to remove her misery, but in her bedroom, passion just dies. A frightened child peeks into the room. She seeks strong, warm arms to embrace, to give comfort when her legs get cold while running away from love and grace. Her face turns away, feeling unworthy, not dead, but desiring to see the light, still clutching her bag of broken promises, the old fool hell bent on being right. She screamed for a stranger to save her, lift her up before she drowned in gloom, bring her back to life with a gentle kiss. but her heart never made the room. And it's hard. You get hurt, you go through things, and sometimes people get jaded. They say, "Oh, well, this might be women. All men are dogs, and all this and all." There's some guys that say the same thing, you know. But I think regardless of the source of pain or what, it could be relationship, it could be race relations, it could be anything. The focus should be on that person that hurt you versus throwing a blanket on so many people. And say, well, that person John hurt me, you know, and then heal from that, you know, and move on. Because if we blanket such a thing, it seems overwhelming. And I think the loneliness, the bitterness, the anger, it just surmounts, and it just fills all our flesh. And then when someone does come along, you're not ready, you're not healed. And the person that came along, you missed out because you still got all that anger, and nobody want to put up with that. You know, you can meet somebody like, you got problems. Nah, I'm out of here. I don't got to deal with this. I was just out here mowing my lawn and with my shirt off like Brian, and and you you came talking to me, but you got problems, you know. But I lived in Chicago for a while. That's where I met my wonderful wife. And there was an area housing project called Cabrini Green. And a lot of stuff happened there. I worked with organizations dealing with the housing because basically the government was not keeping these units in a humane way. You know, the very, just forgot about people, human beings need to be treated like human beings. I guess that's the best way to sum it up. So this poem, Cabrini Red, Black, and Green. Who will recognize the calling as we watch our prophets die? Each night, people roam streets and lay beside buildings during the early hours as they search for tomorrow or longing for the way to escape the darkness and sense of hopelessness. Multiple screams applaud their search and desire, heard as echoes through the brick walls. Then suddenly, the screams are muffled by the thunder of gunfire. For a moment, all is silent, as though waiting to hear more. Death brings the ecstasy of rest and peace, leaving behind gaping mouths to scream. Still, the people find a way to survive, day after day after day. We are the darkness beyond and within this madness, making the ability to remember the faces and words of those prophets difficult. Cabrini Red, Black, and Green. We had mentioned Windows on the Cumberland, and another phenomenal place that I was connected with was Poetry in the Brew with Christine Hall, and it passed on because basically the founder, I don't remember the story, but the founder passed on the baton and to a second person, and then Christine grabbed and she was the third host. And we actually had a 10-year anniversary. Let me get this right. Was it 21, 22? Anyway, there was an anthology published and had some great pieces. This is one of the poems that is in that anthology. It is called Sinew, 10 Years of Poetry in the Brew, and published by April Grooming. Stay awake for this. Stay awake, night creeps, floating behind gray clouds, secrets whispered to the moon, distant craters of icy wells for drinking strong iced tea. On warm August nights, children running after fireflies. Stay awake, day rises, frothing on the edge, coming, pillow clutch for comfort, familiar faces and lucid dreams, for lips to kiss good morning, longing hungry tongues to taste our passions. Stay awake, death rattles, clanging with dull, rusty sickle, desires caged within ribs, lust plays with shadows to lure them onto cold flesh, reaching between dark places to bring a little death. Stay awake, eyes searching, blinding, crusty corners of sight, alone confronting this day, sounds blasting to the ears to provide distractions again, wanting silence just to meditate, to reset my head. Stay awake, hands reaching, grasping toward distant hands, faces zooming, another session, teeth gritting to each other to feel distant connections, binding the wireless cords to bring us together. And that's somewhat of a dedication to the Zoom sessions, which were very popular during COVID. And we were connecting, but kind of disconnecting in some ways. This next poem is titled Change. Change is hard, but it can be beautiful. Steps are hard, but they move us closer. Healing is hard, but it pulls deeply. Courage is hard, but it brings strength. Tears are hard, but they release pain. Patience is hard, but it brings newness. Love is hard, but it makes us change. How am I doing for time, guys? Good?
I'm enjoying this. I think you're fine.
Okay,
If
thank
you
you,
want
thank
to keep going, I'm
Okay.
happy.
This next poem is titled, I Am Dead, You Know. I am the flesh. Target silhouette smiles, daring you to smile back. Paper flying in the window, a stray piece of freedom, longing to find a place to land, but blowing wind gives me the illusion of flight. As though I had wings to lift myself from this stirring free fall. Fear covers my eyes as I believe the ground is about to grab me and snatch me from the wind, throwing me onto the ground. Where are you going? The earth screams, where have you been? The earth whispers, show me your hands, the earth demands. I tremble in the grave, wondering if that road would show me a path to run away. Keep your hands up. Don't move, don't move. Why are you here? Where are you going? Are you on parole? Do you have a gun? Do you have drugs? Keep your hands up. Don't move, don't move. Why are you moving? What are you doing? Stop, put your gun down. Put it down, put it down, put it down. I will shoot sweet 16 times. I feel dead inside today. A cold wind stolen from my lungs, swirling through my flesh. When you feel a chill, it's a ghost. It's probably me. The faint breath of life roaming on the wind like a lost song. It's one looming, it's me looming from the hushed veil, asking one thing about what happened. Why? Why? Why again? This next poem is titled Burnt Offerings. And let me back up on that other poem, guys. I Am Dead, You Know. I wrote that. That's in the forthcoming book. And thank you for listening because I've written this poem, but I've never read it. So this is the debut here on Literature Cafe. I think it's really cool that I'm sharing that for the first time. So, burnt offerings. We are the sacred. We are the many. We have the gathered kindling for a burnt offering, sage perfuming and showing the way. hovering clouds, blended faces, warm smiles, a gathering, driving out darkness, pure light from within, strength embraced and traced along the fibers of our being to remind us who we are over and over, not to mimic, but to be and become. Remember what is needed to thrive spiritually in this world. Burnt offerings. And this looks like, well, actually, the last one, when I was putting together, I should say, Run into Blackness, just like a novel or any story, you got the beginning, the middle, the climax, and and then the ending. I had to think of a poem that I would leave readers with. So I wrote this poem titled I Am a Poet, because they say people remember the beginning and the end. So the poem I Am a Poet. I am the soul, reaching, searching, finding, becoming the message, the memory, the pain, the beauty, the impressions left in my skin. As some ancient language deciphered symbols linked with this soul and filled with the courage and faith to be who and what I am, a poet, feeling my way through the world with words. Thank you for listening. Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you so much. So much. A lot of those poems, especially towards the end, are kind of like some of the songs I'm going to do tonight with my electronic music will kind of be similarly themed. So I think
Sweet.
that's kind of neat. Yeah.
Sweet.
I love that. I thank you so much for sharing everything you did.
You.
Like I know we all come from different places and we can't always imagine what someone else has gone through. But for someone to, come to an event like this and share their life, I know it's not easy to talk about. And even though you wrote it and you're reading it, I just want to thank you for sharing everything you did tonight. It means a lot to me to hear all of that, and I feel a fire underneath my ass right now to, it's inspiration. I appreciate that so much.
Well,
So thank you.
thank you, David. Thank you. Fire underneath you.
Yeah, man. Like I mean it. Like when I hear rhetoric like that, it just makes me just want to hit the gas on everything I want to do in life as far as creating my personal hope is to do anything I can with my 2 cents worth to you know it help build solidarity and um anything I can do to establish greater equity in our
Right.
local communities and
Yes.
yeah, and just make things make opportunities available for anyone.
Right. Right.
I think that's what the American dream should be. I love being American, but American is to me like the pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Mhm.
But I think it was Joe Biafra, who was an old punk, who said a lot of times it seems like it's with liberty and justice to all who can afford it. Or
Bingo. Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
anything we can do to kind of inspire people to pave a new way or maybe grow a new path,
Right.
grow a
Right.
new path
Right.
where opportunities that are available to me will be available to anybody. And it's truly our choice of action that defines our path, and
That's
not the
true.
amount of barriers that are in front of us.
Yeah. That statement you just said about is truly our it's our choice that dictates our path. That's very powerful. Our job as artists, regardless of the form of expression, is to inspire people. Um, And sometimes to take them away, not to think about it, but also to inspire them, let them know what's going on in the world, whether it's the past or now, and say, look, don't get, don't get, don't throw yourself in this state of hopelessness, frustration, and especially fear, because historically fear has been used to divide people and to control people, and to say, look, we go get through this as human beings, no matter, and the world history shows that. You can look at any parts of the world, even where people no longer lived, and they find a city or caves, and they, well, these people were here, and we see all this expression on walls or in pottery or and scrolls and things, but they made it through. They were there for the moment of their existence of what they had to do, but they left a record of the arts, and they lived every day just like we did. You went to the bathroom, raised their children, everything we do that's just basic, similar to animals. You know, this is what you eat, this is what you don't eat. That's what wants to eat you over there, so stay away from them. They're not your friend. You know, those are predators. That's why they have sharp teeth. And at some point, you want to raise kids and you find some bits of happiness. And I think from the past, that's what people are striving to do, make a way, find some happiness, enjoying existence. And that's what we have to do now. But it was promised in this future with all this technology, we'd have it. And I don't think it's for AI to replace me or other writers or other actors or other singers that all of a sudden we're supposed to be happy because AI is doing it for us. Oh, hell no. Hell no. No. We have to do it. We are still the controllers of expression. And that's our, I think that's our current fight next to our climate. If I'm getting political here, we need to not let AI take over, and we need to deal with what's we have polluted the world. We need to clean things up, you know, because I remember our Earth Day event years ago, and I said, if you went to someone's house and instead of using their toilet, they would just go to corners of their room and portions of their house and they crapped and pissed all over, you'd be like, what's wrong with you? But that's what we've been doing. You know, we got shit all over the place, and we're like, I don't know how that happened. It's just there, you know. But it's time to clean up because it is now high, just like these snowstorms, and talking about so many feet. But we got so much feet of manure, and it is stinking us, and we don't know what to do. We're like, I don't know, where did that come from? We did it. We did it to ourselves. But no one wants to admit it. We're going to point, no, they didn't. No, you did, man. And that's been the history of human beings. But there's hope. There's hope. As poets, musicians, we can get people to realize it. And the expression now is own up. In other words, you did it, you know, just say it so we can move forward. We can heal and deal with this. But, you know, whether
I
it's a
think
war or whatever, we got to own up. Yeah.
Dave
It's
Matthews
hard.
had an old song. It's a I did it. Do you think I've gone too far? I did
See?
it.
See?
Nobody has
Yeah.
charged. You know,
There you
yeah,
go.
that's
Yeah.
a good attitude. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And people need to hear that song because you know that's what I love. I love music. You get a certain set of lyrics in you, and you're trying to remember maybe some wisdom or a way to deal with something. And a song could just come in your mind, and sometimes just stay there, and that's enough to keep you going. It's enough to keep you going. Yeah.
You know, that reminded me the animal thing. It's a quote. You ever seen the movie Legend? It's like an old movie from the '80s with Tim Curry. He's like a demon or something like that.
No, but I'm gonna have to look it up now that you mentioned. Okay. Yeah.
Well, this lady calls him an animal, and he goes, "Ha ha 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 ha. We are all animals, my dear
We
lady."
are. We really we're just smart, you know. But we do the same. Now, unfortunately, animals, their kids grow up faster and leave. We got years before. I mean, could you imagine, like your father, new father, your child reaches 5, he's like, adios, I got this. You know, you could have a bunch of kids, you know.
I think about that like a dog will like
Right,
fall
right.
out of his mother's womb and like get up and jump around and stuff. It's like how does he even know how to walk? Like I had to teach my
See?
son to walk, let
Yeah, other
alone.
mammals, they're pretty fast. They're like, I caught on to this, I got this, and they're out. But us, they're
Yeah.
still around. They could be 30, still living there. Like, I'm not sure what to do. The world is crazy. I don't get it. I'm not saying that's my kids, all right? Because I don't want my kids to say, hey, I saw that. What, were you talking about us? No, it's not my kids. They're out there doing some good things and staying afloat.
I
But
know my
I'm
son has more
telling you
common sense
stories.
than I did when I was a kid because, like, for one, I have a very vivid memory of being about 3 years old. My mom saying, "Don't touch that iron; it's hot." And I put
See?
my whole freaking hand on that iron just to
Exactly.
make
Yeah.
sure. My son, he knows better than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like 2.5, and he'll go up to the other and he'll be like, "Is it hot? Is it hot?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's really hot." And he's like, "Okay, okay," and he gets out of
Yeah.
the way. I
See?
was like,
Yeah.
"Thank you for being smarter than I am." God.
You say you starting out right. I don't have to send you to the hospital and they say, how was that burn happen again, sir?
Oh
We can
yeah.
talk to you and investigate you.
Yeah, the authorities, the freaking
Right,
oh, I swear to
exactly. Yeah.
God, what the hell?
Yeah.
That's
That's
insane.
hope.
Yeah, I feel
That's
so
hope.
bad for so many families who like have been nearly or completely torn apart just because of some accident,
Yeah.
because of authorities involved. That's just
Yeah.
horrendous and it's
Well,
wrong.
it may look a certain way, but that doesn't mean that's what's going on.
Right. Yeah.
But you do want to definitely investigate situations because sometimes things happen that you do need to know about and deal with it because child is in danger or elderly person they're in danger or anyone's
That's true. Not
in danger.
everybody is like got it together for sure. I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Like that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah,
I just know I'm I live in a small town and I'm not a very conventional person, so I try to stay a little more mindful about, making sure my son has good common sense and that he's well loved and, just because, people in small towns like to pick on other people, and, in weird ways. So I
yeah,
try to, yeah, I just, we really try to blah, blah, blah. I'm just talking like a parent, I guess, but yeah,
yeah,
we want to do everything we can to equip our son to like, try to have some sense about him, I guess, so
yeah.
yeah,
You can't go wrong with a foundation of love. Sorry, you can't.
amen to that. Oh yeah,
You
thanks. Thank you so much for all that. Yeah, man, it's so true. Just the whole. I mean, there's there's. I think it was you or it might have been James Floyd or it might have been you during that one time that we all talked that one time, and I think that we might try to revamp and commemorate that day because it was cool and we got it on film. And why not we have a watch party for it? I'm thinking about that for
Oh,
something in the
the
future.
living legends with James Floyd and Chaos. Yeah.
Yes, in chaos,
Yes.
yes. And
Yes, that would be a great, to especially commemorate National Portrait Month, April. Yeah.
yes, it was either you, James Floyd, or chaos. It still rings in my head to this day. I think about this a lot still, is that it's very important to read local literature and local literature from other regions
Yes.
and do not like, only read like, national or international literature because
Right.
that's published on that kind of level because these more local, smaller publishings tell a more could potentially tell a more honest, more well-defined vision of what it actually meant to live at that point in time in that community and that sort of thing.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
And I appreciate the richness of your writing so much. It's
Thank you.
wonderful.
Thank you
I
very much.
I like writing a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff, I guess, and it to me it has similar meaning of what you write, but I love the way you put it together in such a just an involved and thorough way, you can really visualize, if you close your eyes, you can really visualize what you're talking about and where you.
Oh, you just given me a great idea. Maybe in some future event, I say, everybody close your eyes and then just read and just ask them what they saw. That is an excellent idea, man. Oh, yeah.
Well, it's like reading. I mean, listening is reading. I had a teacher tell me that one time in community college. He said watching is reading, listening is reading. Anytime you consume information, you're getting a visual picture, and that's the state of reading when you're
Hmm.
visualizing
true.
what you're consuming. I
That's
thought that
true.
was pretty neat that he said that. I thought that was pretty cool.
It's very true. Yeah.
Well,
If you
thanks.
can't see it, you definitely can't feel it.
Yeah,
You
and
gotta
and
be
you're
able to
coming from
feel it.
like a mental health perspective. I'm definitely no like master's degree anything or whatever, but like I've been in the mental health and homeless outreach and that sort of field for about like 11 years now. And one thing I found about depression is if you look at the evolution, if evolution is a thing, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, if you look at science and you look at the way that they present things and the way that, we are animals, but you were saying we're smarter. They scientists generally say, neurologists generally say it's because of the frontal cortex and the frontal lobe of the brain is more developed in human beings. Well, depression and other disorders that are similar to depression that are connected to it, like for instance, anxiety, paranoia, um, even borderline disorders, where people, borderline disorder is very misunderstood. It's it pretty much what it's about is people have had so much either abuse or neglect or disappointment in their life that they don't they have no faith in other people,
They
or
give up.
trust or appreciation because they don't see why they should, because
Yeah,
they
they
weren't
give up.
reared to feel that way, to have the empathy that's
Mm.
that's helpful to be successful and stuff in life and everything. So, anyways, these things all affect the frontal cortex, and I have found in just my life, and this is just my point of view, but there's a big correlation that I have seen in people that have depression and the inability to visualize and imagine things happening after the fact, kind of like they have a hard time thinking of life like a game of chess or something like that, where
Mhm.
like you got to look moves ahead. And there's a big correlation between that and the frontal cortex is that part of the brain that we use to strategy, plan, remember, process information. I had a boss once tell me wisdom is the learned ability to apply the knowledge you have in your life.
True. Yeah, yeah. Very
And I
true.
thought that was interesting. But yeah, it's and that's why we really need to just make sure that we can imagine, we can visualize. It's a very powerful tool.
Yes,
And thank you. Yeah.
definitely. Yes.
We should throw Mike Mundy on because he's kind of brand new to this thing we do as far as being recorded. And I know we probably have editing tonight, so there will be editing, but that might not be in
Not
there.
too much. I really like everything that was said.
Okay.
Yeah, we can
Well,
knock out this little
we're gonna
snippet.
bring on Mike Mundy, and he does a thing called Abandoned Shell, and he's with us on April the 25th for the big dance party at Betty's Grill. It's free, 21 and up. Come dance, have fun. Hear songs in the middle. It's gonna be like a dance party of old. Good times. Bring your honey, and if we can get Mike queued up, we could get some. I think I see a queuing. Hey,
There he
Mike,
is.
Come here, honey.
you ready to throw down and have a great show?
Hi. So Brian Mike Mundy goes by Abandoned Shell. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your project?
I started it. I've been doing music from '98 on, recording music, producing music from 1998 on. When as a young teen. But this actual project, this name, I came up with that like 2004 or 5 or something. But I just make electronic music. Largely, I play guitar. That was my first instrument, but a lot of it has to do with just difficult things we struck through, and a lot of it's very therapeutic for me, really. But it's just
Watch what Mike's getting to show.
so I just feel like I can convey a lot of things that I have trouble conveying through music and electronic music. Some of it's more dancey, some of it's more.
This is Mike Mundy. He's one that named the Neon Chaos Show.
Anything else? I don't. That's as far as I can go with that.
Sounds great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing us with it. Would you like to play some tunes tonight?
Not just prepared yet, but I have a video. I'll get to you.
Okay. Well, I was wondering if you would like me to play one of your tunes.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay. What do you think about the "Oh Really" or the does that
Yeah,
sound
that works.
good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll get that going. I'll get that ready real quick. And let me see if I can minimize the
So-
screen a little bit.
Interesting story behind that, but I'll get to that one day.
Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna get ready to share my screen. I just gotta pull that song up real quick.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, really?
oh really? I'm gonna show you the song.
Yeah, I just wanted the first one of them. Oh, yeah.
We're
I'm gonna play Oh, really?
That was the first song by me you heard.
Man, this is a great song. I really like it. It reminds me a lot of like old stuff I used to listen to, like Shasha and John Digweed, Paul Oakenfold. Those are dropping names that a lot of people might have heard before if they're into like the underground electronic music. But it's really like a very neat you know, like
Like very experimental.
yeah, experimental like electronic dance music is what I would call it.
Like electronica or something.
Or more so like rave, I would say, like trance, almost like kind of like
yeah,
coming from a time. It reminds me a lot of when I was like super into trance. The newer stuff I haven't listened to a ton. I'm into some newer trance style music, but this stuff really, I think this song I'm going to show you all by Abandoned Shell, aka Brian Michael Mundy, is a really good example of like what I consider my favorite style of trance. So I'm really thrilled that he sent me this and I did some mastering to it. But he composed all the music and created all the sounds and all that. So I really didn't do much to it. I just kind of balanced out the volume a little bit or whatever. But
There's an ex-girlfriend talking in there, but the rest was me.
okay, well we don't have to worry about that. But if you don't want to, I mean,
Brian,
would you
camera
want?
I mean,
Did you want to talk
that's
about
part
that?
of- no, that's all right. I was just saying it's part of the song. That's all.
Okay, cool. Okay.
I don't know you can really understand.
All right. So I'm going to share the screen, and try to find the one that's on. Make sure I hit volume, share sound, media player. Okay, share.
That was wonderful.
Yeah, I loved it. Like great.
That was cool, man.
Yeah,
I need to get like a visualizer going with that stuff or whatever. I think the application.
I hope that's some of the music playing the 25th.
Oh, I'm sure.
yeah, I think people really dance to that.
That was smooth. The energy, everything. That was cool. Really was. Dope. Very dope.
Yeah, I think people will be able to dance to that very well.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if anybody sees this as a precursor, in 21 days, this is not like that rabbit movie where it was 7 foot tall, but in 21 days, there's gonna be a great show at Betty's Grill, 49th Avenue North, 407 49th Avenue North. Betty's Grill.
Oh, yeah, great.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good show. On our Literature Cafe Global Facebook group, you can find us. It's called The Literature Cafe Global, and I'm sure if you scroll through, or if you look under events, we'll have the event there. So, looking forward to seeing whoever can show up. It's gonna be like a dance party and a rock and roll party. We're gonna have like avant-garde rock with dance music. Each person is gonna get up there for about 15-20 minutes and play, and then someone else is gonna just like ride, follow them, right after that, mixing in. It's going to be nonstop music all night, and we're going to have everything set up to begin with, so it'll be like easy transitions, throughout the entire night. It's going to be a lot of fun. So
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
come out and
Before I
have a
go
good
on,
time.
before I bring Waves of 11 on, I would love to read this new poem that I have. It's going to be set.
Jeez.
It's going to be set to a different musical tone, but it's called Shaman, and I'm going to use real shaman trance drums to it. And,
Oh, yeah, I think we're gonna.
All right, guys. Want to be a shaman. Oh, feel the mystic side of me. Want to be the magician with no tricks up my sleeve. Want to show you the mythic beasts, a creature so pure that it can only be seen and not touched by sinful hands. Must be only the wind and its breath on the sand. Oh, and the imagination's running, but what a land to live in. What a dream to give into. Want to be a shaman. The mystic inside of me says that all is revealed, opens a door from which a universe was concealed. And there's fields of odd plants as people dance, trance like strange. And there is a mystic in my head, and there is an angel by my bed. Want to be a shaman, oh, dance around. Want to be a shaman, float above the ground. Oh, feel the mystic side of me. Want to be the magician with no tricks up my sleeve. Oh, yeah. Ancient rivers in the storm, the mountain tops from which the legends were derived, the lost paths we trekked only to survive. We have arrived, and there is a mystic in my head, and there is an angel by my bed. The imagination's running, want to be a shaman. Oh, feel the mystic side of me. A creature so pure that it can only be seen and not touched by sinful hands. Want to wander in the wastelands, out on the edge of the fray, the world with sandstorms that never stop, and a lingering thought of the mystic side of me. Want to be a shaman. The mystic inside of me says all is revealed, opens a door from which a universe was concealed, and there's fields of odd plants as people dance, trance, like, strange. And that was shamanic drums, deep trance humming meditation. So if you want to check it out, it is on YouTube. And we've got Waves of 11 here with us too. And Austin has been working really hard on his music, and he's done some stuff with us, Unknown Sounds as well. And so Austin, I'm gonna ask you a few questions before you do your performance, if you don't mind.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry.
A couple.
Why not?
I hope you're not wanted in any states or anything. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
All right. I bet Tom Snyder never asked anybody that. Really. But so, what inspired you to do your music, and how would you describe your style of music, and what would you call it?
Well, what inspired me was just, um, well, my love for like 80s and, just older, like electronic music, I'd say. And just the music that I grew up listening to, with my parents really inspired me. So I'd say my music is like retro, I'd say. So just anything retro.
So, what's the biggest bands that did inspire you? Would you say, if you had to name off just a couple of them that
Hmm.
were your big to dos?
Hmm. Well, I really like Depeche Mode. Um, yeah, bands like that. Depeche Mode.
Great. Well, if you would like to play a song or something, and anything you want to do, stage is yours.
Okay. Um, I think I have to share my screen. Hey David, do you think I can share my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I just said that. I think that's the only way I can share
Sure.
my audio. Oh, there we go.
And Henry, thank you for being here at the show. Definitely, it's been good to be able to entertain you as well.
Hey, love being here.
Yeah. I always let me see. Yeah, I got my mic unmuted. I appreciate people like, even though they perform, they stick around. Thank you so much. Like, throughout the whole show, it's always wonderful, and we all get to see and share what everybody does. It's pretty great. I think it like makes for a better show. Like
Yeah. I don't just really.
like
That's,
like
that's
I know
really
Henry, you may have some things to do. Brian, you may have some things to do, but thank you all so much for like continuing to watch the show because we got a lot of really cool stuff. I think you're gonna like Austin, and then I guess I would like to go on after Austin if that's okay. And
Totally. Yes.
yeah. Um.
So this is
So,
me, Austin Tumblin, and
oh
Patrick
yeah.
Michael.
Actually, I forgot to mention. I'm actually not going to be playing any of my music tonight. I'm actually going to. Well, it is my music, but it's not just my personal music. It's me and uh me and Unknown Sound. Uh, as Brian mentioned. It's what we've done together. I wanted to share that since I've never played that
Unknown Sounds is
before.
Brian Burchette and Patrick Michael, right? And then y'all
Yes.
collab. So yeah,
Yeah, and
it's pretty
we've done
awesome.
a lot of collabs, and we're actually going to be creating an album that we're going to be selling at the show, but we're
And,
also going to
and
be probably selling it afterwards, after the show too. Either way.
my theory is everybody likes duct tape.
jive alongside strange and blurry fantasy. All the people stand in rows. Looks like a New Year's oval. Back in the day with black and white portrait on the wall. The shadows, you know them by name as they fall. But you know all I wanted was some double-sided duct tape. You know I'm always on the make. Double-sided duct tape. Double-sided duct tape. They seen them shadows fall, bringing musical jive and a shadow dance. Double-sided mystery, strange scene, odd dream. Bring it, I'm ready. Tired of your guff, the corner grass screams. It's time for my rhyme. It's time I showed you the signs. Double-sided duct tape. Double-sided duct tape. Take the microphone again. You know all I wanted was some double-sided duct tape. You know I'm always on the make. Double-sided duct tape. Double-sided duct tape. Bring musical jive alongside strange and blurry harmony. Oh, double-sided duct tape, double-sided duct tape, always on the make.
And thank you. That was a double-sided duct tape. I'm sorry, I had a little bit of difficult, what do you call it? Difficulties.
That was cool. And that was really
Yeah.
successful on SoundCloud, right?
It has
Oh yeah,
over,
yeah,
got
yeah.
over 2,000 hits currently.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations, y'all.
Yeah. So now I think I'm going to play. Which one should I play next?
Let's take a vote here. Does
Uh,
anybody like
Another
comic
song I
book
got.
style cartoons?
oh yeah, I can play it.
This is a song called Action Man. Now, Action Man is based off of comic books and G.I. Joe, and you know the things we grew up on, where there was like this hero, and he always saves the day. This is Action Man, and this is how Action Man saves the day for entertainment
Oh, yeah.
only.
Yeah, and we put a bunch of sounds to make some.
Yeah, it's got a lot of sounds within it, so that you feel like
Yeah.
you're in a television show. We even had somebody ask us, "What TV show are you trying to destroy?" And they think Action Man was a movie from the 80s or something. So
well,
they
that's
so
not
we
me.
so we told them it was for entertainment only, and we were glad. So Austin's so realistic with some of his sounds, he made people believe he had a real TV show he borrowed it from.
Well, okay, here's Action.
But if I'm right, all the samples and everything in the song are y'all, right? Like y'all didn't use anything except for maybe machine gun fire from another source, right?
Oh well,
Uh,
we use like the
archive sources where you can use the sounds and everything like
oh
that.
yeah, they were like free like sources.
Yeah, free
Okay.
sources.
Like yeah, like okay. Here's action.
With arms of steel and a soldier's will, always on the mission's plan. Seems to me there's
Thank you guys.
Oh, right, that one. That was good.
Yeah. I think I'll play one more song here. It's a bit of a shorter song, but it's just to show off.
Oh, this one
Anyway.
also shows off inner sounds. It makes you
Oh,
go
yeah, that's right.
inside the jazz club like you were there with the glasses tinkling.
Yeah, and I want to show this one off.
And by the way,
Oh, yeah.
it needs more hits. So if anybody's listening, please listen to it more because jazz don't get enough hits. So
Oh yeah, it's called Cool Cat. We came up with the idea one day just talking, and we thought of Cool Cat, and we thought it would make a good jazz song. It would make a jazz song. Here it is.
He's a cool cat. He knows where it's at. He wears a high hat. He's a cool cat. He's that cat. He's a cool cat. Not your average cat. Oh, not exact. Got more than 9 lives. Has dreamy eyes. His purr mystifies. He's a cool cat. Got that soul patch. Cool as cool can be. Say, cat, can you dig the scene? He's a jive cat. He's a cool cat. He's a hip cat. He got 9 lives. He can hypnotize. He's a cool cat. He's a cool cat. He's that cat. Wear a high hat. Not your average cat. He's a cool cat. He knows where it's at. He wears a high hat. He's a cool, cool cat. He's that cat. He's a cool cat. Not your average cat.
Yeah, I felt like it took us all inside the club, inside and out. That was great.
Oh yeah.
That was awesome. Great
Yeah,
work.
thank
Great work, you guys. And you sounded really good singing too, Brian. That's cool.
Oh yeah, Brian. Yeah, you sound great.
Jazz is interesting because you get to just start kind of vibing and having fun with it.
Yeah.
I can see why people wanted to be a jazz singer.
Oh yeah. My
Yeah.
wife and I, we went to like on a special date last fall. We went to no, maybe it was like 2 falls ago, but seemed like last fall. But it was to the I think it's called the Skull Lounge, the Rainbow Skull Lounge downtown in Printer's Alley.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, it was phenomenal. We had the
Yeah.
best time. We had a really
I
good
forgot that.
meal, and like I only had a couple drinks that were like, signature drinks at the bar, and I was like, oh my God. Ugh. I was full and feeling great, and it was just a great time and good times, good times.
Wow, that's Koci.
Yeah, I was glad we went out that night. It was like a special night for us, so it was cool. All right, on.
All
Well-
right, so let's move on to some Reberhead.
Okay.
So Reberhead will be on at the April 25th show as well. DJing, doing his own music, selling merch, a little bit of everything. And we're glad to have him. This is Reberhead, and we're going to turn it over to him and see what he does with it for a few minutes.
Okay. Well, I started out playing acoustic guitar, writing like folk music, and then I got into electronic stuff and really enjoyed that. And got into dark electronic. My father passed away when I was 14, so I had a lot of emotion, and we moved out to like a small town outside of Franklin and Nashville called Fairview, and it was not easy living, I guess, but we made it. So luckily, and my brother turned out well. He was like my younger brother, 4 years younger, and I kind of had to step in and be the paternal figure. And we did it. He's like a computer engineer now, so he's doing all right. So thank goodness we made it out, because wow, we went through some phases. I tell you what, we really did. But okay, my first song I'm gonna do. This is like a redo of like a song I wrote probably back in 2016, right before my mother passed away. And it was a lot about, I was getting married, and my mom was really sick, and it was kind of a bittersweet time, I guess, but I was grateful I got married, and we're still married, my wife and I. And so this is kind of what I was thinking at that time, but I went ahead and made a performance of it last night, and made a music video out of the performance. So I thought I'd share that with you because I have so many technical difficulties on Zoom. I thought I'd perform and just like share it or whatever. So that's kind of what I'm doing now. But it's a one take thing. I only like practiced it a bunch, but it's about the second take when I recorded it. So I feel like it's an honest recording. So we'll see how it goes. So I'm gonna share my screen. Let's see here. Where am I at? Okay, make sure it's share sound. Media player. Okay. So this is called Gazing at the Dawn. So I hope y'all like it. goes rumbling and the ocean crashes on. The sun will give our spirits new reasons to be strong. And we know we'll keep on moving as we sing it in our song. As we dream about Earth Walker, gazing at the dawn. As this ball of earth goes rumbling and the ocean crashes on. The sun will give us spirits new reasons to be strong. And we know we'll keep on moving as we sing it in our song. As we dream of the Earth Walker, gazing at the dawn. Rumbling and the ocean crashes on. The sun will give our spirits new reasons to be strong. And we know we'll keep on moving as we sing it in our song. As we dream about Earth Walker, gazing at the dawn. As this ball of earth goes rumbling and the ocean crashes on. The sun will give our spirits new reasons to be strong. And we know we'll keep on moving as we sing it in our song. As we dream of the Earth Walker, gazing at the dawn. Thanks, y'all. That was track one. And then I guess thank you. I'll serve it to one more. Or maybe two more. I don't know. I'll go with one. We'll see how we feel. And let's see here.
That was one day.
Not that. I might show that one next. Okay, this is like this crazy music video I made. I hope y'all like it. It's zoo footage. It's like my family and I, we went to the zoo at Grassmere and in Nashville, the Nashville Zoo, and we had like a I don't know, it was the Chinese New Year celebration, and we had a bunch of video we took pretty much. So I glitched it out and did all kinds of weird stuff with it. So I hope you like it. This song is about it's kind of what we've been talking about tonight about the just building solidarity in our communities. And I feel like there's like this great, me personally, my perspective is that like there's this tyrannical, it's like cloud or something that just like overshadows everything in the world, right? Maybe it's the media, maybe it's politics, maybe it's whatever, but it really causes a lot of trouble for a lot of people. I know my family's been greatly affected by it. It seems like we just hustle all the time and try to make as much money as we can, but we're always like having a hard time making ends meet, and we're just praying for like $5, $10 sometimes just to get us through the next day and stuff. And it's kind of unnecessary, I think. And so this is, and everything that we do as far as art and music is like a peaceful way to protest and fight the tyranny that kind of dominates the world, in my perspective. And so this song is about just like, if there's an act, if change could come and just an end to all this like hatred and all this like, um, um, you know, unrest that like, people that have plenty of resources have against people that, they've really taken resources from, and kind of put the responsibility on the people that they've stolen the resources from, or the opportunities or whatever. It's like you have some people with a lot of resources and a lot of opportunities, and they pretty much, in my opinion, they've just like ripped off tons of people and prevented them, and taken from them, and from there, like, and then they get upset that, it's almost like people like myself and others exist, eh, because we have a hard time, making ends meet, and it's really frustrating, and it's easy to sometimes you can feel guilty if you're having a hard time, feeding your family and stuff. But I mean, and you get another job and it pays more, but it seems to be never enough for this stupid system that I feel like I live in. And anyways, this song is about a first and final end to all that bullshit and trying something new in the world, I guess. That's what this is about. So I hope y'all like it. It was originally a song called "The First and Final End," and then it was called "An Ending to the Beginning," and now I call it "Frozen and Falling" because that's how I feel often. So, but the lyrics are the same. So this is like the latest thing I came up with.
That's wonderful.
Thank y'all so much. Wait. Thank you. Would you like to hear one more maybe?
Yeah, I got a request.
Sure.
Just, yeah, one about the desert.
The desert? Oh, I don't have a music video for that one yet. I would
Oh,
like
never mind.
I would
Maybe
like I
next
can
time.
do it, but like I don't know. Can
You can take a break on it this time, but
okay.
the general public
we need to
needs
make
a
a music
video
video
for
for
this
that.
because it's so wonderful. I want to tell everybody how the visuals to this video are going to be when you see it. When it happens one day, you are going to see the Grand Canyon. You're going to see places
Yeah,
that are just beautiful, wonderful, and just anyway, I'll give it back to you. Sorry about that. Hey, do we
it's
still
okay.
have Francesca with us?
Yes.
Let's say hello to Francesca.
Howdy.
Hey
Hey,
y'all,
Francesca. Hey, what's
I've
up?
been out and about today.
Oh,
So,
nice.
but I'm
Hey
here now.
Francesca, how was your day?
It was awesome.
Cool.
First, I started
Good.
out with an eye study, but I also started out with doing my 30 days of poetry. So I dedicated that to Martin Luther King because he was actually assassinated today, years ago in Memphis. And I made sure to use that as one of my poems today because I really think that even when I went to the Mission Barbecue, there was a guy there, and he said, "You educated me because you shared that with me." So we all need to keep in mind that love is education, and love that we share together. These poets, these pieces of art, and everything that even I know Henry's been working really hard in this area as well, and I really appreciate that, Henry, that you've always been there and for over the years and done such wonderful work with every kind of nationality that we have welcomed. And even though people say all kinds of things, you just got to remember that we are one and we are love. So that's what I have to say.
Yeah, I thank all of you for I I've had hard times. The fact that all of y'all accept me as a person, I appreciate that. So I'm just saying it's
Yeah.
really nice for everybody to show up and participate in this thing that Brian and I put together. And Brian really he started the Literature Cafe Global, but I help with the AV stuff and try to help host. And I just
Well,
thank all of you for participating with us because it means a lot to us. We really have a huge passion for what we do.
actually, everybody in here is actually, I think, an admin. Francesca, did we make you admin? Because
Yes,
everybody in the room is really important to this whole scene because Henry's been a long-standing admin of the Literature Cafe Global.
that's right.
And he's one of the people that will lead it in the future, and he could even pass it
Yes.
on to somebody else too. So really, the fact that it's in so many hands is a good thing because
is.
it's kind of like it's not one person's,
No,
and it
it's
never
not
was meant
that
to be one
one.
person. So
And I'd like to say this the fact that we're all talking about this togetherness and us being connected in this group and stuff and participating when we can and stuff. I want to show one more video real quick. And this song. I wrote this song when COVID first started hitting. I wanted to write a song that was a prayer that would get me through the whole COVID thing. Okay, so I wrote a prayer to get me and my family and anybody I care about through this COVID thing. And it looks like we're mostly all here, so that's pretty cool. So, of my personal circle, I can't speak for anybody else's, but I have lost a few friends along the way and some family, and it's just ridiculous and heartbreaking. But anyways, point being is I'm really grateful to see everybody who's here tonight, and this song is it's called "By the Same Chord" because I feel like we're all bound by the same chord. So I hope you all like it. Here we go. Share the screen. Okay.
It was very good.
Wow, man.
Amazing time.
Thanks, y'all. Yeah.
Amazing.
We're proud of you for working on all this through the pandemic and also after the pandemic, because there's just so many people who kind of got lost in that, situation, and they didn't come out of it creatively, and so as a team, it's really cool to have, I think, just a lot of people that we can care about in our community
Thanks.
and share all this music and share the art and share all that, like I said before, through our love for the things
Yeah.
that we love.
Hey, Francesca, I had a special request. We've all done a lot of songs and poetry and everything tonight, but there's one poem that we haven't heard, and I would love
Oh,
for
I
it to be
don't.
the ending of our show. If
I
you
have
even
to
do some of
find
it,
my.
something
I have to
about
go
the beach.
find my script. Oh no. I mean, I kind of know it, but I know it
Okay.
by heart, but I'd rather not.
Nashville and the world, this is a treat because a lot of these people existed, and these are real great stories. And the
Story.
Literature Cafe Global does try to tell stories, so we don't gossip, but we'll tell stories now.
Or well, that's a good thing.
Dear.
Okay.
I like it. I love it. Trying to figure out where my
I
I
like your
have it over here
backdrop.
somewhere. Huh?
I like
Like
your
my
backdrop.
Yeah, I
It's
actually
great to
made
look
that
at.
for the Kidney Foundation, and it
Wow.
was in actually that 12th South place that's down there one night for the Kidney Foundation. And the girl who was running it ended up, it's got a story. She ended up being in The Wolf on Wall Street
Wow.
and meeting Leonardo DiCaprio and all this.
Oh wow.
But
Uh-huh.
anyway, that
That's
was
awesome.
part of something that I was.
So Henry, while she's getting her poem
trying to get
together to end this,
It's almost there.
I hear that you are still poet laureate. And how do we keep you as poet laureate? Anybody that's out there listening, because I want
Well-
you to win it. I want you to win it again
Well,
because you are like the best, and we want to
Well,
keep you around.
yeah, every city, county, state, they have different terms. There's
Mhm.
no set terms nationally. Some terms are a year long, some are 2, some are open. Maggie Vaughn, the poet laureate of Tennessee, has had an open term for many, many years. I'd have to look
Right.
up when she became the poet laureate. So the arrangement just varies from place to place.
Well, I want
The
you to
key
know.
as a laureate, you just keep working.
Well,
Got some.
I want you to know, if you're ever not poet laureate anything, we are going to crown you the poet laureate of the Literature Cafe Global, the one and the only. And it never goes away. It'll be a lifetime tenure.
Okay, gotcha.
So it will be official, not to trump any great governments, but
Okay.
we
No.
will do that for you because
Oh, okay.
you've
That'll be
always been here
Right.
for us.
There we
And
go.
Like,
You mind if I ask what a poet laureate does exactly? What the position is?
Well, in summary, because I explain that when I go and speak and present, I'm more of a advocate for poetry as well as an ambassador in the poetry world. That's it in a nutshell, where I'm trying to get people excited about poetry and educate about somewhat of the history of poetry and share the poetry I've written and composed. Specifically, sometimes poet laureates will they'll present poetry at openings. I've done that a few times. What else poet laureates do? They'll compose work for events, and it's just a number of things. But basically, you're keeping poetry alive in the city, state, or county where you represent. That's
you wear many
great.
hats, right?
Yeah,
And that's what
yeah.
I'm going to start talking about here about my poem.
Yeah,
because
All
my
right.
poem talks about having a hat.
yeah, a lot of hats.
But I mean, if go ahead and finish, let me know when you were. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So that's it. Yeah.
Well, we're glad to have you, and you will
Yeah, I
always
feel
have a title with us, man.
we
So,
Thank
we
you.
work hard on like a very low budget. Our
Yeah.
budget is like
we work hard
nominal.
on low budget. I like
But I
that.
think like we're able to do a lot with what we have. Like we've got some
Right.
decent phone cameras, and
You never know. We
I
never know
got
what
some
might happen.
video. I got some budget video software I use to do what I can with it, and I'm able to do some decent stuff. Not maybe not like I don't know what do you call it, like uh Photoshop quality. I don't mess with any Adobe stuff personally.
Well, maybe
But
Henry,
it's
maybe
too
sometime
expensive.
you
But
could pop up on the Waves of 11 thing that Austin wants to do called Tea Talk, because he's looking for some people to interview,
Okay.
and maybe he could do a one-on-one with you because he hasn't got to let his show get out yet.
yeah,
And
Okay.
you maybe
I'm
could be number
interviewable
one.
too. I've
one
got
thing
a
I
lot
always
of stuff to talk
Yeah.
about. Yep.
I just want to say one thing I always appreciate is with someone that's like as busy as you are, Henry. Like I know you are always doing something, having some kind of appointments and stuff, and for and I and I feel like everything you do is meaningful and great for like what's important to me. As far as like for the community and the arts and stuff like that. And I just for it's very meaningful to me, and I'm sure everybody in this group that you take time out to like participate with us, and it, even though what we do is kind of niche, I think, and like but it's good niche. Maybe just a lot of people just don't know about it. Really, is what it is. Maybe
Right.
we
Everything
could
takes
learn.
time.
Yeah, and maybe we could learn to promote ourselves more. It's a delicate balance. We want to promote ourselves, but we don't want to be hokey about it. We don't want to spam a bunch of people. So
Right.
it's
But
But I've
it's
been out there. I've been out there with Henry on the promotional sort of out
yes.
there with him.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
maybe we could
Yeah.
learn some
And we
things.
still never finished a interview that we tried to get with him, but it was okay because she's just sort of but we try several different things in our careers. Sometimes things don't always flesh out because they get started but they don't continue in the way that we think they're going to continue, but they lead to something else.
We were
So
talking
that's why I
about that
say you
earlier.
have no clue
Yep.
what this could be. And we have, we have availability if we record it the right way to use the Kneecap studio as well, because I've been involved with those people and they have like 3 channels that they air stuff on, and you can also get stuff on Roku through them. And but
Another thing, if
I don't know.
anybody wants to get published right now, we're doing another video program, and I'm kind of guilty of not getting my video together in time yet. But if everybody will send David a video at his email, they could have something on it. And what we do, it's kind of like MTV, but it's for the poets and the artists here. And we're gonna, do a thing where we describe the video and everything and the person, and give them a great intro, and show your video there.
Yeah,
And
to me, it's like a mix between like MPT and MTV somehow.
yeah,
How we
I like
we
it that. Yeah,
pulled that
definitely.
off, but it's kind of like that. It's funny.
But we'd like to get everybody's video in there because we're working on this part 4 of this one program that we never got part 4 for, and it's the Literature Cafe Global number 4, and it's taken us 2 years. But if anybody wants to put in on it, 2 years after, man, it will be ready.
Yeah, anything you want to send in, we'll be happy to use in any way that y'all see fit. Like we appreciate it all.
And speaking of ready, are you ready for the Southern Defect?
We are
Yeah.
ready for Southern Defect, and this ends the Literature Cafe Global,
Right.
and we're going to bask in it now. And I hope to have some people.
Right. Okay, here we go. I'll go through. I took off my hat. Just look at my heart. Done ran my pantyhose and scuffed up my pocketbook on that brick wall over there. Mama calls me a hot mess on Sunday morning, huh? Been out trolloping all Saturday night. Breakfast is getting cold. Oh, Lord. Grandma done burnt them biscuits again. Oh, Guess it's oats today. My poor stomach will be a growling. The preacher hates that sound. He talks about how Jesus brought his disciples together to feed the fish to the multitudes, and I'm a southern defect. My whole family raises their hands in an unspoken prayer request every Sunday morning. Southern defects can't wait till Monday morning to start all over again. So thank you. That was one of my creative pieces that sort of started the whole. And I'm sorry I wasn't here earlier, but I was actually at the Opry, which is one of the places that really inspires me because of a lot of the people who used to do the vaudeville stuff, and I love to sing too. But anyhow, that's my southern defect. Thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for everyone.
Francesca Kirkpatrick.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
And you also have a feature coming up soon. Wait, let's not forget
I
about
do.
that.
Oh yes, let's not
Let's
forget
talk
that.
about this, like, you know, the
I'm
shows get
gonna
to do
be
that.
Catwoman. Well, I'm gonna be at the Wordwort on April the 13th. So that's coming up this Saturday, April 13th. Not this particular Saturday, but the next one. April 13th. And I will be doing some new cat poems likely. And also Henry's featured there several times, and I'm sure that some of you can probably feature there as well. If you just bring your stuff, you can sign up, or bring guitar too. I think they've allowed music every now and then. They'll have
Yes.
a guitar player up there. I know that, you know, it's been the past, but anyways, we all are welcome. I mean, don't ever make yourself feel unwelcome just because, you know, like I've told y'all before, just go carry on, because things are not what they seem. I'll put it that way. Like we see, like in Twin Peaks, they say things are not what they seem. And when you think your way out of something, then you are out. Don't think your way out of anything. Make sure you include yourself, and make sure that you feel, you know, some people may get a little strange or say something that makes you feel like, well, maybe I'm not welcome. But that's what Dr. King, remember this is what Dr. King tried to help us with. He tried to help us understand that we are not alone, and we do not need to step down just because we have anything that other people don't understand or don't care about or whatever, because we all, like I said, come from that love, and we all got to remember how to treat each other. And if the other people don't want to treat each other that way, then they will fall to the wayside. I promise you. I've seen it so many times. People who complain and complain, it usually gets back on them, and they get, you know, to be who they are. And they're known for their complaining and not for doing. So do, and don't complain.
Yep.
Henry knows that, right? Because if you
Oh,
complained
yes.
every day, we wouldn't be anywhere with your art or my art or anybody's, because you know we
Yeah.
all have challenges. Put it that way.
That's very,
We all have
very true.
challenges, and we all can be a little bit, you know, that, but we can also be accepting and accept people who they are, and don't worry about what other people say they've done, because
That's true.
it's just look through history. Just look through
Yeah.
history, and
We each have our own journey.
we do.
Yep.
We each have our own journey, and there's no room for somebody making a mistake thinking that they don't belong. They do belong somewhere in the grand scheme of things.
There's
You
this
know?
old KMFDM song that says that's a crazy band from the 90s. It's like an industrial band. But they got a song that says doesn't really matter what you believe. Doesn't really matter if you belong. I don't know, I like that. But
Yeah, see, so use those words. Get those words in your heart, and remember when you're challenged with opposition, because I've taught so many kids that were challenged. They had nobody on their side, and they have become something wonderful. I mean, despite what other people tell them, I would always tell them, hey, if you're a graffiti maker, make a book about it. You know, you could do anything. I tell kids that. I tell adults that. I tell people, and even just make sure that even if, like I said, I suffer from some different health issues and stuff like that, but I try not to let that get me down. I tell people, hey, look, I'm going to do something. I'm going to be this or I'm going to be that or, whatever I decide. It's my decision to go forward with what I choose. And same thing with everybody here. We all chose to be born and come into this world with love. And that's how we'll end it in peace with ourselves, you know? And then we can find that peace, even if we feel like we're restless and we've got to, do things that are, on our own terms. Eventually, that peace will come to you, whether it be you're a parent, whether it be you're the, whoever you are. You'll find who you are. And don't let anybody take who you are away. Ever.
That reminds me of a sketch on SNL that Brian and Austin shared with me the other night that I forgot about. It was the Negative Nancy sketch.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah,
I
the
feel
girl,
like sometimes if I feel like people get me down or whatever,
Debbie Downer.
Debbie Downer, that's what it was. Debbie Downer, yeah, that's what it was. Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, and like it was just funny because like I think I can be a Debbie Downer sometimes if I don't like if I let people get me down or whatever, I'll start complaining about why, but like Francesca said, and like everyone else said, like you got to just like keep your heart going and
Well, you got to keep your heart pure when the world tries to spoil it, and it's really hard to do that.
yeah.
Yeah, yep. It's a job, and that's why we're here.
I love how
To
y'all lift each other, how we lift each other up in this group. That's really awesome. And and like I was telling Henry earlier, like that early poetry in the show, like oh my gosh, man, it's like a campfire like formed underneath my ass and started burning me. Like having to jump out of my seat and
The
run,
book's coming
like
out.
just like move forward and moving onward and
Yeah.
I got a question
Yeah.
though. It doesn't sound like a fanboy question to a poet laureate, but do you get to put your book in the library like as soon as it comes out because it's
I
because
do
you?
have books in the library. That had happened before I was poet laureate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the library got the books. It's some libraries in Nashville and the one in Hendersonville. Um, I'd have to check on the one in Chicago. That was the Run Into Blackness book that came out in
Great.
2010. So yeah, 2009, 2010. So, yeah. Um,
Just
but
thought I'd ask because I just wondered if there's like
I
you got
love
to.
it. Love hearing that I'm talking to
Because
people that
knowing
have
the
like
public can pick your book up and read your stuff is really, really cool to hear because it makes me realize everybody's got a chance now,
oh
you know,
yes, yeah,
and it's just how you carry yourself, really,
and you have to be dedicated to yourself and believe in yourself before people kind of get it. And as creatives, I know that non-creative people or people who are reluctant to try to be creative, they might get a little intimidated or just think we're weird because we think differently. We respond to the world differently, but
Right.
and they don't see a purpose. Well, what are you doing? Oh, okay. Does that pay bills? You get money for that?
You
The
always hear
sport
how
and
much money
stuff?
you make from that.
Right, right. And I've had people kind of think that way where every time you present your poetry or why are you writing that poetry, that poem? Are you going to write that poem so you're getting paid to do that versus, well, I have to write this poem. And they don't understand when you have a calling as a creative person that you have to do something. Will that poem become a part of a book or somewhere that
Right.
is for sale? Sure, maybe, maybe not. But in that immediate moment, you have to express whatever that is what you were born and realize that you are to express. And I think as creative people, when we deny ourselves, that's when we get into trouble. Let's just put it that way. We have to express, and whether regardless if you got a 9 to 5, whatever so your challenges, because I said, so you can't paint one picture a year, you can't write one poem a year.
Mm-hmm.
Are you really that busy? Because they're 3-hour movies, and
Right.
and we deserve to set aside time for us, because people say, well, I got a family, I can't do what you do. I'm like, dude, I have
That's
a
not
family
true.
too. We raised kids and took them to our events, and kids should never be a barrier to not express yourself. And in fact, that's the opportunity to show them the importance of the arts by having them there. I don't think you should deny kids and,
Witness it.
showing
Witness
them
the
the arts,
art.
'cause they're
Yeah.
young appreciators.
Mm-hmm.
So we did with our 3 kids.
They need to hear what life is all about. I mean,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
for instance, like,
Well, that's
the books that
definitely-
they're trying to take out of schools, I mean, that's like real life stuff that kids need to, that's why we had it in schools to begin with, because kids needed to learn that stuff. It was important.
Right.
And now they're thinking it's too hard on their emotions or something. I don't know what they're thinking.
Yeah.
It sounds like a fallacy, really.
And then they become adults who are afraid to express themselves, to share experiences and so forth.
Mm.
Well,
if everybody wants to end this recording, I was going to ask also if Henry, in the future reference for the next show we put together, maybe would like to be one of the hosts, and we could all put together a little package of some ideas of what we'd all like to show off, and maybe we could creep inside the poet laureate's mind and see how the show might be a little bit different on the next one or something. You never know. So if you'd like to join us on the next one, and we could all do it, you could be one of the hosts as well, and we could all put together a nice show for everybody in the Literature Cafe Global. And
yeah, and honestly, if you would like to, if any of you would like to send us videos, if you can't make the next event or whatever, our little MPT in TV thing, if you want to send us like a video that we can, splice in with all the rest of our stuff, we'd love to have it.
Okay. That's a good idea.
I know me and Henry both know we do a lot. We want to do more than we do.
Right.
But sometimes we get caught in conflicts because we have other events that come flying up into our.
Right.
you guys stay more
That's
busy
okay.
than
That's
I really do.
That's the way of the ebb and flow of life and the universe and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like things just I think that whatever any of us feel compelled to do, I would hope that's what they do that night.
Right.
Yeah, and
Absolutely
and
had
I'm
to help
always
a friend.
we're always like a home that you can stop by along the way, and get some spiritual food and spiritual drink, and I don't know, some spiritual, more like Irish. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying, we try to provide fruit for the spirit here, in our show. And it's not necessarily, I wouldn't call it religious at all, but like just for this, the heart, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And whenever y'all are able to stop by, we appreciate it. We're always happy to see you. So any of you, yeah.
Spirit of our art. Well, I'm so happy that I was able to join, but I know we all have lots of things to do this upcoming week because of the eclipse coming and all these other things. For whatever reason, I don't know what it was on my plate. I got like tons of things, and I just had to say hold off on most of them. But when you have a friend who's lost someone and they really need you, sometimes you've got to be there for them and do the thing.
Well, if you guys want to end this show on a good note, Bojangles now has blueberry cookies. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry to be
That
commercial,
sounds nice.
but here's what one of them looks like. This is a Bojangles cookie. And they taste like a Subway cookie, but they got blueberry flavor, and they're amazing, and they're worth it. Go to Bojangles, buy some cookies.
I'm telling you,
Is Bojangles one of your sponsors now? You were just paying to get that shout out.
they are now, I
Blueberry
guess, right?
cookies by
Exactly.
Bojangles.
You should show that to them. Hey, I can do this every time.
It's
Push
Bojangles.
Bojangles.
That's our
Oh, no,
budget.
spend
That's
the
our
check.
budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
How does Bo know poetry? It rhymes.
Yeah.
Bo knows poetry. Thank you.
There we
Yes.
go. Well, this
Oh,
has been
remember,
great,
hey,
everyone.
People used to put Bo knows Francesca on everything, and I don't know why they did that, but I don't know. It was
Do you
just
know
weird.
Bo?
I don't know. I didn't know, but you remember that Bo knows, and somebody came out flying out when I used to work at the Aubreyland Park, and they was like, "Oh, in the bathroom it said Bo knows your name," and I'm like, "What?"
Okay.
shoot.
They were trying to joke with me. I don't know. It was
Yeah.
a joke.
Well, okay.
Well,
Well, I'm gonna
Pretty
stop recording. Does that sound
Good
good?
night.
And
Sounds good.
good.
It's been a great night.
I love
Appreciate
you all.
Hi,
everything.
having everybody.
Yes.
Night, y'all.
Words of wisdom and inspiration here. I really enjoyed it. And music, fantastic creativity, blend of imagery in that music, and keep doing that. Keep getting it out there so people can see it and appreciate it as well.
I don't know what else I do, honestly, except for raise my family and put out these crazy videos. So, and play live. You know, if y'all want to see us in person, we'll be at Betty's on the 25th. So
Well, market, and promote so folks know.
we'll do.
Definitely.
Thank you.
We'll
Yeah,
just keep
yeah.
pushing it. We'll keep telling people about it.
Oh, and there will be prizes at the show. Everybody needs to know that we're
Oh,
giving
yeah.
stuff away.
Oh, we're giving all
we're
kinds of
giving-
stuff away.
I'm gonna give
CDs,
away-
stickers,
I'm
books.
giving a book away.
Yeah.
There'll be a free copy of Bizarre Verse published by Bacchus Pele Productions.
Wow.
It's got 14 poems with artwork, pictures. You can get a album scan. It doesn't do your taxes, but it's a good book. You know.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, well,
Everybody
peace.
have a good
Thank you.
night. Hope to see you again soon.
Yes,
All right.
same thing.
Thanks for having me. It's great to meet y'all.
Austin, Brian, good to meet you. Brian, Burchette, good to see you again, my friend.
Oh, we're back.
Always, Francesca, David. Let's keep in contact, everyone.
Absolutely. Thank
See you
you.
around.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you guys, and I want to thank everybody for doing this show.
I found